Tell me one thing, have you ever watched a match that didn't just entertain you, but changed the air in the room? Because that's exactly what happened at WrestleMania 14. Not "oh, that was cool," not "nice spot." I mean the moment where the crowd suddenly stops reacting like a crowd and starts reacting like a movement. And I'm warning you right now, what you're about to see in these WrestleMania moments is going to anger you in the best possible way. Because people always say, Stone Cold Austin came out of nowhere. No, he didn't. Austin didn't just walk into WrestleMania, he walked into history, and turned it into a weapon. So today on Wrestling Zone 1, we're doing something different. We're not just counting greatest moments. We're putting the spotlight on the hinge points, the moments that made WrestleMania feel bigger than wrestling. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why WrestleMania 14 isn't just the show, it's the beginning of the Austin era. Let's get into it. Quick question 1, answer in the comments if you could pick one superpower to have in wrestling: brawling, submission skills, or a finisher that ends it instantly. Which one are you choosing? Alright, let's set the stage. WrestleMania 14, the show that didn't ask permission. WrestleMania 14 had a different kind of energy. Not that everything is perfect kind, that something is about to snap kind. Picture this: you've got legacy on one side, expectations on the other, and a man like Stone Cold Austin who doesn't care about either. The Austin era doesn't start because the company planned it on a whiteboard. It starts because the audience recognized something real, not a character that was polished, not a gimmick that was safe, something dangerous. Something loud, something that felt like it could fight you back. And the anger you feel watching these moments, that's the truth, because whenever Austin shows up, he doesn't just win. He ruins the plan. He ruins the corporate vibe. He ruins the idea that wrestling is supposed to behave. So let's talk about what WrestleMania 14 really delivers: momentum, turning points, moments that don't fade like highlights, they stick like bruises. The Austin era begins, the core moments, the birth of the chaos. Now, the Austin era begins in a very specific way, not with a speech, not with a promo that makes you clap, and not with a "respect your elders" speech. It begins when a certain kind of attitude becomes undeniable. Austin isn't built for permission, he's built for impact. And at WrestleMania 14, you start seeing that Austin isn't just a star, it's an event. Quick question 2, who was your first ever favorite wrestler that you didn't even know you'd become a fan of? Like your pick surprised you? Tell me who it was. Moment breakdown part 1, the Undertaker factor. Let me remind you, Undertaker at WrestleMania isn't wrestling, it's legend building. Every time he steps into WrestleMania, he doesn't just enter a ring, he enters a myth. And when you talk about greatest WrestleMania moments, you can't skip the Undertaker effect, because it creates a baseline, a standard, a feeling like, wait, this is the top of the mountain. Then, Austin starts moving in the same direction, but he does it differently. Undertaker's story is inevitability. Austin's story is rebel lion. So WrestleMania 14 sits at the crossroads. You've got the unstoppable force of tradition, and the unstoppable force of disruption. And that's the recipe for something legendary. Moment breakdown part 2, the matches that made WrestleMania feel personal. Here's where people get it wrong. They say, WrestleMania is too big, it's too scripted, too polished. Wrong. Because the greatest WrestleMania moments aren't about perfection, they are about emotion colliding with consequence. You don't remember WrestleMania 14 only because of the big spots. You remember it because it felt like everything mattered. Every near fall was louder, every reaction was sharper, every crowd noise felt like it was trying to push the wrestlers into another level. And when WrestleMania starts doing that, the Austin era is already on the way. The 42 greatest WrestleMania moments concept. Why this number matters. Now here's the thing, 42 greatest WrestleMania moments isn't just a number to sound cool. It's a reminder that WrestleMania isn't made of one match, it's made of a chain of moments. Think about it, a WrestleMania moment isn't just a move. It's a decision, it's a risk, it's a twist, it's a crowd reaction. It's a split second where you can feel the storyline changing direction. So what we're doing in this script is walking through those hinge moments leading toward Austin's emergence, and showing why WrestleMania 14 is the beginning of something that wouldn't stop. Because once Austin becomes the guy, WrestleMania changes forever. Quick question 3. What's more satisfying, a wrestler executing a perfect finisher, or winning after a chaotic comeback when it looked over? Comment your pick. WrestleMania 14, where the crowd starts choosing a different kind of hero. Now listen carefully, this is the part that makes fans mad. Some fans want that official hero, the corporate hero, the perfect hero, but the crowd picks the hero that feels like a fight. Austin felt like that. Austin felt like the guy who didn't ask the audience for approval. Austin made the audience part of the aggression, and that's why the Austin era begins at WrestleMania 14, because the show is where the audience fully commits. The moment Austin becomes more than a character is the moment fans decide they are not here to be entertained. They are here to participate. The anger that powers the Austin era. Let's be honest, whenever Austin becomes unstoppable, there are always people who hate it. People who complain it's too much. People who say it's not classy. But the reason it works is because it's honest to what wrestling fans love underneath it all. Wrestling fans don't just want moves. They want justice in the form of consequence. They want the arrogant to get punished. They want the rules to get broken. And Austin is basically the embodiment of, watch what happens when you stop acting like you own the world. That's not just a gimmick. That's why people scream. Quick question 4. What's your most hated wrestling trope? A interference, B ref bumps, C predictable rematches, or D heel characters never facing consequences? Reply with a, B, C, or D. Building to the biggest change, Austin's presence is the spark at WrestleMania 14. Austin doesn't just appear. He gathers attention like gravity, and you can feel something shift in how the crowd treats the show. You know when a wrestler is popular but not dominant. Austin becomes dominant. And dominance at WrestleMania isn't about winning every match. It's about winning the mood. Austin wins the mood. He turns the show into the moment. He turns the moment into the era. And once that happens, every future WrestleMania feels like it's racing toward that same intensity again. Now let's hit the 42 greatest moments energy without doing a boring list. I'm not going to throw a lazy checklist at you like, moment 7 was cool, moment 19 was okay. No, these moments are connected. So here's how we frame the 42 moments, the moment categories that define great WrestleMania history. 1. The streak and the submission of fear, Undertaker energy. 2. The reversal moments when fate flips. 3. The crowd shifting moments when fans decide the story for you. 4. The betrayal moments when trust dies and violence begins. 5. The impossible comebacks when you thought it was over. 6. The symbolic matches where an era is born. WrestleMania 14 hits multiple categories at once. That's why it matters. That's why people still talk about it like it wasn't just a night, it was a turning point. Quick question 5. If you could rename WrestleMania 14 as a phrase, what would you call it? Example, the night everything broke. Drop your phrase in the comments. The Austin era begins, not just a wrestler, a philosophy. Let's get back to the core. Austin isn't only a guy who fights. Austin is a philosophy that spreads. And that philosophy spreads through moments where Austin doesn't play by the script, doesn't smile the right way, doesn't give you comfort. Austin gives you pressure, and pressure produces reaction. Reaction produces noise. Noise produces legend. That's how it works. And WrestleMania 14 is where it becomes official in the wrestling world. The real reason fans remember WrestleMania moments. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. WrestleMania moments are remembered because they make you feel something you didn't expect. Even if you go in neutral after the show, you're not neutral anymore. You're invested, angry, hyped, tearing up, shouting at your screen like the wrestlers can hear you. Wrestling is storytelling, sure, but WrestleMania is the place where the story starts feeling personal. And at WrestleMania 14, the personal includes the beginning of Austin's era of chaos. Quick question 6. What's your favorite WrestleMania crowd moment ever? The one where the crowd sounded like they were going to riot even if they didn't. Tell me what it was. Ending this video like a challenge. Now I want you to think about something before you leave this video. If WrestleMania 14 was the beginning of the Austin era, what does that mean for everything after? It means WWE didn't just get lucky. It means the audience demanded a different type of hero. It means the wrestling world was ready for an attitude that didn't ask permission. And that's why these are not just 42 greatest moments. These are the moments that proved something. Wrestling changes when a crowd chooses a new kind of truth. And Austin's presence at WrestleMania 14 is where that truth starts spreading like fire. So here's my final challenge, and I mean it. Before you click away, comment your answer to this, ### final comment question. Answer this. Out of the types below, which one defines Austin the most? 1. Rebel Lion. 2. Chaos. 3. Disrespect. 4. Resilience. Reply with the number 1/2/3/4 and then, if you want more Wrestling Zone 1 greatness, share this video. Because people need to argue about these moments. They need to debate. They need to feel that anger and hype at the same time. Because that's what WrestleMania does. It doesn't just entertain. It starts eras, and the Austin era starts here. If you want, I can also rewrite this into a shot-by-shot YouTube format with on-screen text suggestions, crowd SFX beats, And moment 142 structure, but I'd need to know, do you want the 42 to be strictly chronological or ranked by impact?